Yellowing of the leaves is one of those annoying things that unfortunately has many causes. A lot of the times it's not really something to worry about, but it can also be a warning sign. When leaves become yellow, they cannot be saved and will eventually either drop from the plant or shrivel. They are basically dying. The only exception is when yellow is the natural color or due to variegation, which can sometimes be yellow. I'll go through the causes one by one and explain why yellowing may occur. Succulents are not massive fans of soggy potting mix or being watered too often. Some cultivars will however tolerate it well, but others can struggle. Leaves that have become yellow from too much water will often be plump and can ooze water when squeezed a bit. They have absorbed way too much water and were not able to release it due to humidity or constant rain. 1 or 2 yellow leaves will not be a huge problem, but it would be good if the plant was able to dry out and perspire properly. You can make this happen by stopping any watering until the potting mix is completely dry, or move the plant under cover if it's raining. Succulents love light. Most have evolved in open spaces where they get a lot of either direct or indirect light. Succulents kept outdoors tend to cope better with shade than those indoors. Many of the sun-loving types may quickly start developing yellow leaves indoors, but are likely to fare better if kept in a shade outdoors. Having said that, if the shade is substantial enough, they can start suffering outdoors as well. Succulents that prefer shade or filtered light do exist, but they are in the minority. Most are sun lovers that will grow best in the sun. In tight clusters or where leaves push against something hard, they can start yellowing and die off. This is quite natural and hard to avoid, especially with plants like this. You can separate the individual rosettes, but it's also okay to keep them in clumps. This can sometimes be unavoidable and is usually isolated to leaves touching the soil. It also doesn't happen to all leaves that are in contact with soil. My guess is that the side of the leaf sitting on soil cannot release water when perspiring, which can kill cells within the leaves. Yes, succulents can suffer if they do not get watered. They can live for months without any water, but when it's hot, sunny and dry, they can struggle. When they've been dry for a while, many will start dropping their most bottom leaves. Often the leaves will go yellow first, then dry out completely. This is a stress response. The plant cannot support all the leaves as it slowly starts losing its water storage, and so it drops some and concentrates the rest in the top leaves and the stalk. If you've been growing succulents for a bit, you may have noticed that very dry succulents will have a thick stalk and fewer, chunkier leaves. Succulents can become rootbound in pots, but also in the garden where they only have very little topsoil. These plants would have used up all of their root space and the nutrients in it. This will stress them and trigger the same response as when they are dry. They will start conserving water in fewer leaves. The rest will be dropped and once again can turn yellow before the leaf dies off. Rot is often caused by a fungus, but also by other organisms. Once it's spread through the stem, the leaves will often start yellowing and then turning brown where they meet the stem. The leaves can also be a bit mushy and look translucent. If rot is responsible for yellowing leaves, the succulent is often not salvageable and is likely going to die, as once the leaves start yellowing, the rot is already spread through the stem. Dry rot is something I don't see talked about often, and I will be making a video on it soon. It tends not to be as destructive and only usually affects a few leaves. It manifests as a brown yellowish hole in the middle of the leaf or at the tip. If you see this, you may need to treat with a fungicide. Pest damage does not always result in yellow leaves, but if they munch on them in a certain way, the tissue around the wound can die and start yellowing as a result. From personal experience, it's the larger pests such as slugs, caterpillars, etc. that can cause yellowing leaves. There's a small number of succulents that have deciduous leaves. They can go yellow, brown or a reddish color in autumn and fall off for winter. In spring they'll grow back green. You may be thinking, well, duh, but some succulents are a bit sneaky with their naturally yellow leaves. For instance, this pretty Anacampseros can look all green in summer, but once it starts getting cooler, yellow and pink colors can come through. Other succulents such as this Crussula Hummel Sunset can do the same. It will also change colors depending on sun exposure. Okay, so this is all I could think of, but there is a good chance I may have left something out. If you have any other reasons for leaves going yellow, do share with us in the comments. And on that note, it's time to end. I hope this video was useful, and if you'd like to learn more about succulents, hit the subscribe button or go to our website succulentgrowingtips.com. Thank you so very much for watching.